attending today. We're going to give it a couple more minutes here as people are lining in as we speak, but we'll be getting started here shortly. Thank you again for your time and look forward to speaking with you here shortly. Good afternoon. Appreciate your opportunity here that you're taking to attend today. I appreciate our speaker, Kim, as well as those of you on the call here, our partners and agents. We've got an exciting program here. We're going to be discussing today a topic, one of many, we're going to continue to hear about as we move through the retirement pipeline in America. And what about new changes? The landscape is changing continually, and it's important now more than ever to have accurate information, timely information, and be partnered with a team, particularly when it relates to tax-related questions. Should be tied to a team that can help you and your clients. And IMS and our partnership with Integrity, you'll find out more here, is one of those relationships. I'm going to briefly go through a little bit about IMS this morning, start off with a question, and then we're going to hear from Kim, our featured speaker, about the concept of QLACs. And we are also going to then discuss tools that you can use to engage now, as well as an opportunity how to get physical marketing materials about this concept in your hands for contracting with Integrity Life and through your partnership with IMS. So we'll go ahead and get started here. And we're going to start off with a little bit, for those of you in the room here that may not be as familiar with IMS, we are a marketing organization, independent marketing organization, servicing insurance agents, registered reps, financial professionals since the late 80s. We are in the arena of building partnerships with annuity product carriers, as well as development of product and partnerships with elite groups like Integrity that we're going to be talking about today. For those of you that are starting with IMS New, when you get your start with us here, we have an opportunity. We call it our New Producer Builders Jumpstart, essentially, program. And during your first 180 days of joining IMS, if you are new with us, we have a tiered program set up to where we can compensate you for those pieces of business that you first write with us in the first 180 days at a more advanced level. So as an example, you can see on the board here, you come on board, uncover, say, a case or a case and a half opportunity, maybe with a QLAC. We do $500,000 in production, annuity premium here. And what that will do in your first 180 days with us is, in addition to your commission, trip qualification points you may earn, you're going to receive an opportunity to get a 5,000 piece postcard or seminar mailing covered. If you're currently doing marketing of your own, that could be covering an expense you're already looking to incur here to get in front of people that you can assist, as well as an opportunity, if you want to more on the fun side, to go to Ritz-Carlton, any of their properties, have a great stay, or cash. So essentially, we have these tiered out based on annuity production. You'll each receive what that equates to when you write life insurance with us as well. If you are in any questions you have pertaining to this, reach out to myself or your current relationship marketer at IMS, and they'd be happy to help make sure you're on board with the program and you know your numbers. Once you are with IMS, we also build our business much like you do, quite frankly, through referrals. And the way we do it a little different here than other IMOs is we're not an aggregator shop where we're building hierarchies of producers. As you know, we work with independent agents that our model is service. We're going to pay you for those referrals. So if you're working with somebody that are working with us and you like what you see and you rub elbows with another advisor or agent in your community or in our industry that you would like to have the same opportunity, introduce them to us. We'll take care of the contracting relationship, and then we're going to pay you $50 when they contract, and we're going to pay you thousands as their production goes forward. Essentially, what we do is pay the commission that we normally would to you, pay it normally to the other agent, and we're just going to pay you an override out of IMS's pocket, some basis points back on any business they write. for their entire relationship with IMES. Those dollars can build up. We appreciate the referrals. Let me know if you have any questions. And then marketing reimbursement. As you work with us to produce and submit business with us, we want to also help any way we can to engage in those activities to help you get in front of the people that you service and help, i.e. marketing. And so we have a program, just our base level program, that for every $100,000 in annuity index premium, as an example, $100 goes into your marketing account, and that dollar, those amounts can be reimbursed to you via check for marketing expenses you incur in your practice or new marketing programs you engage in here with IMES. They never expire and they just continue to build. Also available for life and target premium and single premium life. I'm going to save a little bit of our back office support and a little more about IMES so we can get started with our first question here real quick, and then we're going to get on to our topic. So first, we'll get our first polling question ready to go, and this will just help us this helps us gauge getting material back to you in a quick way so we know exactly what you may be looking for. And so I'm going to pose our first question on the screen here. When I launch this, simply answer for us here. It'll help gauge what materials we may get out. So at this time, if you are interested in hearing more about our lead and appointment programs to get you in front of the type of clientele that you prefer working with, simply answer the question there. We'll make sure to get that material emailed to you, and I'll speak with you individually, and or your primary contact here at IMES, and we'll get you informed and all the material you need. Appreciate that. Looks like you guys are doing great. Everything's coming in, and we'll close this one up in a moment here. We'll switch over to the most exciting part of the day. And Kim, are you with us here?
I am here.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to switch over here, and I appreciate everyone with the poll. We'll be back with more poll questions here shortly. And Kim, I'm going to go ahead and give you power control over this here. One second here. Thank you. Go. Okay.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. Perfect.
Right.
Okay. So without further ado, Miss Kim Humbert, valued resource, Western and Southern Life Integrity Group Company's personal friend of myself and many others, Kim Humbert, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks you, Justin. That was a very nice introduction. So for those of you who have not met me, my name is Kim Humbert. I am the Vice President of Business Development with Integrity Life, National Integrity Life, and W&S Financial Group Distributors. I've been with the company 20 years, and what I've learned about Western and Southern is that this company cares, not just about me, but you as well as your clients. There's no better place and no better team than what you'll find here. And I'll share a little bit more about that here a little later. But if you're not familiar with us, we distribute a full suite of retirement risk management products, including fixed, indexed, and income solutions that are available in all states. And I want to start by saying just thank you for joining me and allowing me, Justin, to present today's topic, Slow Me the Money and Taxes. I've presented on the DIA and QLAC before, but this is going to have a little bit of new content in it. So over the next 20 minutes or so, we'll look at how patients can pay with DIAs and QLACs, and then we'll cover some key points on how using these can help your clients delay RMDs and taxes. So let's start by thinking about your book of business. How many qualified money millionaires do you have in it? Well, in June of 2024, Empower, one of the nation's largest retirement services companies, reported that it alone had more than 2.1 million total retirement accounts with balances of at least $1 million. This includes employer-sponsored plans and individually controlled IRAs. So that is quite a few millionaires out there. But here's the thing, like it or not, it's tough turning long-term savers into lavish spenders. And after decades building retirement wealth in qualified plans and traditional IRAs, some folks just have a really hard time bringing themselves to spend it. It's the classic millionaire next door scenario. They live in a mortgage-free home. They drive an older model car. They follow a familiar, affordable routine that's well within their means. They feel like they're getting by just fine. I know a client like this, and I'm sure we all know clients like these. They like taking retirement income on their own terms and preserving their nest egg, including delaying taxes on it. The clients I'm thinking of aren't very keen on the fact that RMDs will someday force their hand. They're unhappy federal law mandates that, whether they want it or not, come age 73, they must begin annually drawing down those hard earned retirement assets from qualified plans and traditional IRAs. Some clients may be fully aware of this law and this requirement, but others may be in for a very painful surprise. But either way, the reality is that when this day arrives, the bigger the RMD, the bigger the tax bill. So before we consider how to mitigate the RMD mandate, let's take a moment to review how a DIA, a deferred income annuity, works in general before we jump into like the main topic. So a DIA is a flexible premium product and can be purchased with a single payment or a series of payments using non-qualified or qualified funds. The insurance company begins paying a regular income based on the selected payout option. This pays on an agreed future date, sometimes even decades in the future, with an amount, with the amount of the payout depending on the amount of the purchase payment. Also into consideration of that is the age and the gender of the buyer or the annuitant, including a joint annuitant, as well as the length of the deferral period before the payout begins. And because life happens, the DIA includes an accelerated payment feature that allows an advance of 6 monthly payments, which can be utilized twice over the life of the contract. And I shouldn't talk about the DIA in generality. These are features specific to our DIA product. Right, so potential advantages of a DIA include longevity risk mitigation that comes with a measure of protection against outliving assets. Tax advantages like tax deferred growth that continues during the deferral period and sets it apart from a currently taxed alternative. Income customization. So when the payout phase begins, flexible start dates and payout options can be tailored to fit client needs. Postponing income to a later date produces potentially higher payouts. I often see a DIA used for income gap planning, such as delaying Social Security payments, building a personal pension plan, or even supplementing one that is already in place. But the bottom line, a DIA is often used to create a future predictable, sustainable income stream, whether it be for a period of time or for life. So now let's talk about QLAC. So a QLAC is a special type of DIA. Think of it as a feature of a DIA, allowing traditional IRA owners and defined contribution plan participants to ignore the QLAC funds in those accounts when calculating their RMDs. As long as the QLAC distributions are delayed, the associated RMDs as well as taxes are delayed too. So what makes QLACs different from modern retirements is that no other qualified retirement product allows you to defer the start of your guaranteed income payments to be as late as age 85. And it's the only way to defer RMDs past your RMD age. Keep in mind, though, every QLAC is a DIA, but not all DIAs are QLACs. So like I said, a QLAC is a feature within the DIA. In addition to delaying payments to age 85, other features of the QLAC include contributions up to $210,000. Now that's the 2025 index limit of qualified pre-tax funds. I double checked just before this webinar, and typically the QLAC thresholds have been increasing every single year. As of right now, it's status quo. I haven't heard that there's going to be an increase for 2026 yet. Payouts of life only or life with cash refund are available. You can also issue this as an individual or joint with a spouse. So I'm going to pause here for a second and want to note that the second point here about contributions. As I mentioned, the IRS limits the total amount you can allocate to QLACs across all of your IRAs. So while you can fund a QLAC for multiple IRAs, the total amount contributed to all QLACs across those IRAs cannot exceed that limit. And like I said, we expect the QLAC limit to increase again in 2026 just because it's usually adjusted annually for inflation thanks to Secure 2.0. But as of right now, there's no confirmation on the amount of that increase just yet. So here's the super high level visual, just presenting the with and the without scenario and noting some key points of what we're discussing. At age 73, you can take RMDs and pay taxes on $210,000. Or you can place that $210,000 into a QLAC, delay RMDs and the associated taxes all the way to age 85. So again, the bottom line here is with RMDs beginning at age 73, you purchase a QLAC, it can buy another 12 years of tax deferral for up to $210,000 in traditional IRA or qualified plan funds. And remember, $210,000 is the 2025 limit. Going forward, it's supposed to be adjusted for inflation annually. Now, why is that important? Because with this being a flexible premium product, you put $210,000 in it today. You can add up to the threshold of 2026, up to that threshold next year. And you can do that each year up to about 13 months before the income actually starts in your QLAC contract. All right, so as I mentioned 2 slides ago, our DIA Income Source Select offers principal protection options at death that policy owners can elect for beneficiaries at the application. I feel like this can often be confusing or even forgotten. So I wanted to really take a closer look at one of our newest flyers that we have. This is really demonstrating that a DIA has 2 phases. The time between the contract issue and the income starting is the deferral phase. And once income begins, the client is now in the income phase. So I want to break down the beneficiary protection for each phase. In this example, our owner is age 60 with income starting in 10 years at age 70. But our client dies at age 69 prior to income starting. Because she is still in the deferral phase and she chose the death benefit option, the insurance carrier, Western and Southern, Integrity Life, National Integrity Life, returns the premium amount as a lump sum to her named beneficiaries. And here we have the same client, except she has started receiving payouts, which means she's in the income phase. In these 2 examples, the clients, a year after income begins, the client dies a year after the income begins. The top scenario shows the beneficiaries receiving the remaining premium as a lump sum, had the client elected the life with cash refund option on the application. So cash refund, think lump sum return to the beneficiaries. The second example at the bottom is demonstrating beneficiaries continuing that income stream, which would be true in a scenario if the life with installment refund option was selected. And it will continue until that premium is exhausted. We'll keep paying that out until the premium is exhausted. So income payouts to the beneficiaries at the death of the client are determined by the option chosen at the application. It works exactly the same way as the SPIA payout options work. The key here is to remember that there are 2 phases that need consideration for beneficiary protection. The deferral phase before income has started, and then the income phase after the client begins receiving income payouts.
Hey, Kim.
Yeah.
This is Josh. I'd like to add something to that. Thank you, if you have a second. So I had you had gone through this material with us the other day. I had a advisor last week that showed me something in this when his clients would typically bring to him a question about QLAC. It would come from various sources. A lot of times you'll see it in the AARP magazine. There'll be a company talking about this QLAC. Essentially, he found that a lot of people just didn't know what it was, and there was merit in him being able to actually have a name for the acronym to be able to say, oh, that's a qualified longevity annuity contract.
Yep.
Here's how it works. What he was surprised on was how quickly it allowed him to dovetail, in this case, into why they even had a question in the first place. So most of the clients that he was working with had a question. He would just come back and say, what was your primary interest in this QLAC concept? And it all leads back to what we're talking about here, which is avoiding, deferring, or not allowing yourself or future generations to pay more taxes than they need to. And
Correct.
and so and he told me himself, he said, I attended your webinar on non-qualified stretch annuities and it clicked for me. He said, before the event, I kept saying, this is detailed information that I don't need to be focused on right now. However, his clients kept asking it. They may have not qualified for the QLAC or it may have not been beneficial to their plan, but it allowed him to be the trusted advisor in the scenario and uncover more interest in why are they wanting to defer taxes, which led to a conversation around non-qualified annuities and the stretch and other ways to offset taxes. So um, of the companies that do these QLACs as an IMO, we're aware of, I'll let Kim speak to this further, a handful of companies that do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it is about the tax deferral, but also about the opportunity. Right now, if somebody's concerned about taxes for their beneficiary or for themselves, that's the type of client you want to be talking to. So thought I'd share that with the group, and I'll provide further context too after I hear how his appointment went. But I appreciate your
Oh,
help with it as well.
yeah, no, that'd be great. I'd love to hear how things end up with that one. But yeah, you're right. It's paying taxes on money that your clients don't want or maybe don't even need. So that's kind of where the
Yeah,
QLAC comes into play. Perfect.
absolutely.
All right, so maybe if we're ready, we can jump into how clients can actually benefit from QLACs, and then we'll talk about how you can benefit from QLACs. All right, so um, as Justin alluded to, like that advisor didn't actually present this idea to the client; it was the reverse. So the more your clients understand the benefits of DIAs and QLACs, the stronger your case becomes for including them in retirement planning. And here you had a scenario where the client was asking about it. Hey, does this work for me? And the advisor kind of did his own research, right, and determined, yeah, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Let's explore. So it kind of opened the doors. So that's awesome.
Exactly.
So
And very good. Yeah, that was my point. So thank you for allowing us to shine a little bit here in that situation.
yeah. So, I think the biggest thing and most important thing to remember is that the QLAC, this is the only way to defer RMD distributions on qualified money beyond the normal RMD age. We've got a lot of people that, and my dad included, right? He's in that club. Um, I don't want to pay taxes on that. How do I get around that? Well, you can't, but we can postpone them, and the QLAC would be the way to do that. So remember that, when a client purchases a QLAC, that amount they use to buy it is actually removed from their RMD calculations until income begins. So, and you can potentially delay all that, all the taxes and the RMDs all the way out to age 85. You can take it sooner, but the latest you can delay is age 85. And the longer the deferral period on a DIA or a QLAC, potentially the larger the guaranteed income payout, right? Because you're kind of delaying it a little bit longer, so we're able to make that money work for you. And we're making it work for you at a time when, it's you're going to need it the most, right? Because by the time someone reaches their mid 80s, many traditional income sources may have run down or they've lost their buying power due to inflation. And, at that age, most people aren't going back to work, right, at age 85, but their expenses don't stop, especially, healthcare related ones. They often increase and rise. I call it aging expenses. And a QLAC income can actually help supplement other resources and offset costs such as assisted living or nursing care. So we didn't touch on this, but QLACs can also offer some meaningful flexibility, meaning that clients can adjust their income start date by moving payments up or back as much as 5 years, as long as the start date doesn't extend past age 85. And that flexibility can be powerful as your client's circumstances change, because we never know what tomorrow is going to look like. So it's great that we have all of this flexibility for them. And as I mentioned, it can actually be used or act as dedicated reserves for medical or long-term care expenses that happen later in life when, you're going to need those dollars more. And then finally, something clients always appreciate, and depending on the payout option selected, any remaining funds can pass to beneficiaries. QLACs aren't a use it or lose it arrangement, and that assurance can definitely bring some significant peace of mind. Okay, so why would you sell it? So what's in it for you, right? First, a QLAC creates a valuable contact opportunity. As Justin demonstrated, it opens some doors. It'll give a fresh, relevant reason to re-engage maybe some older clients who've been heavily weighted in qualified assets, and maybe you haven't reached out to them in a while. So this will give you a reason to. A second reason is that QLAC conversations can actually help put otherwise idle or stale money, I call it stale money, just in case money, into motion. These are dollars that often are just been sitting there untouched. So a QLAC gives you a productive strategy for actually activating them and putting them to work for your client. And next, for clients who, I already talked about this, but for clients who dislike RMDs, who want to keep as much money growing tax deferred for as long as possible, a QLAC lets you present this compelling approach to protecting a portion of their qualified funds. It aligns perfectly with the mindset of clients who want more control and less forced distribution. My dad is that client.
He golfs with my dad. I think they, exactly.
It's that generation.
Yes.
And finally, the cash refund option lets you offer clients a powerful dual purpose strategy. So we've got live on money if they need income later in life, and leave on money that can pass to the beneficiaries if income isn't needed. It's just a simple, flexible way to add value for both you, your clients, and your practice. All right, so we've got some considerations that I want to put in front of you. So when you are evaluating whether a DIA or a QLAC is the right fit, there's several considerations that you'll want to keep in mind. First is, we all know it's long-term, irrevocable commitment. By regulation, the QLAC actually cannot include any cash surrender value or commutation benefits. So once it's purchased, that decision is permanent. Second is QLAC ownership may affect Social Security and Medicare planning. So keep that in mind. And then finally, of course, it's not suitable for everyone, but it's great to have the conversation. But people who may not be a good fit might be below average in health. They might need that money in case they do get sick, so they'll need access to it. They might need their full RMD to cover short-term spending or expenses, or maybe already have a large pension or actually want the full exposure to the market and they're comfortable with that, and that's great. But some clients need you to consider the strategy for them. So this is kind of the new portion that I threw in here, Justin. There's several slides that we're going to go through. There's about 4 more slides, but I wanted to take a look at how this example plays out with and without the benefit of a QLAC. So this guy here,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
He's not quite my burly redheaded beard self, but I think Paul's a little more gentlemanlike here. Good deal.
So we're going to call this little client Paul. He is now retired. He's been a steady saver over many years in his workforce, and he's always been the type of person who, chooses to live beneath his means. I won't call him frugal, but he's living beneath his means. That's fine. He is receiving Social Security, a pension, and also rental property income, but is very comfortable with his current level of monthly income. So Paul is realized, hey, I'm turning 70 soon, which means I'm going to have to start taking RMDs in 3 years. So he's funded a traditional IRA over the course of his career, which is now valued at $600,000. And he's one of those clients that are not happy that he has to take these RMDs because, like I said, he's got enough income coming in, he's comfortable. So he doesn't want it, he doesn't need it. Plus, the RMDs are going to push his taxable income into a higher bracket. So let's think about that. We need to consider that. Where are they lying in the income tax brackets? And these forced RMDs, are they going to push them into a higher tax bracket? So his preference would just be for his IRA to just continue growing and be tax deferred as long as he possibly can. So Paul can defer all the taxes on the entire $600,000, but he does decide to buy the Income Source Select now, pushes out the RMDs and the taxes on $210,000 of his IRA for another 15 years up to age 85. Good for you, Paul. But here's where the math comes in, and as well as the impact on Paul's entire financial picture. So this is showing the hypothetical growth over 15 years of his IRA with and without the QLAC component. By purchasing a QLAC for $210,000 now and then deferring it to age 85, Paul is delaying RMDs of over $121,000. I won't go into the smaller change. He's saving almost $39,000 in current taxes over that period. The reduced taxable income is the bottom line here, right? Increased tax savings. Now imagine that tax savings times 2. What if Paul is married? His spouse has her own IRA money. Married clients can own their own QLAC and then also be each other's joint annuitant, each other's beneficiary, basically, right? And then you can name the kids beyond that as the beneficiary. So here you're setting up income for 2 lives when they might just need it the most. And this is a really powerful page from our illustration that I wanted to go into. This is basically saying, could you outperform what the DIA guarantees by investing the $210,000 yourself? Okay, this is kind of like our analysis page. This is page 6 of our QLAC illustrations. And here what it's saying is the DIA, the Income Source Select, guarantees $73,303 per year starting at age 85. It's kind of, if you see it under where it says your analysis, assets required to match, ISS, which is Income Source Select, guaranteed income. In the bottom of that paragraph, you see the 73,303 number. It's okay. So that's what the DIA is guaranteeing per year starting at age 85. This illustration is actually showing on this page how much money you would need at the income start date to generate that same $73,303 from your own investment portfolio using different withdrawal rates. So Justin, you and I have never really gotten into the weeds on this, so I really wanted to kind of go through this. Now what this means.
This is very powerful. Oh, keep going. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what this means is if a client wanted to pull out $73,303 in 1 year or in year 1, just like the DIA, and they insisted on using a 4% safe withdrawal rate, they would need $1.8 million saved, not the original $210,000 premium that we're working with the QLAC. Does that make sense? Also shows
Yeah,
what oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, definitely, if you have a question on that, that makes sense to me. That's astonishing.
Yeah. And what it's also showing is the what the investment return would be required for your initial $210,000 to grow large enough over that deferral period to reach the required assets shown in the middle column. So tell me, like, where can you find guaranteed net annual returns like these? Like 15.82%, almost 16%, guaranteed at that. Now,
Not at all.
these, yeah, right. I don't know where you can find it. If anyone, if you find it, if anyone on the call finds it, please call me. I would love to know. Um, but the point
Yeah,
is,
no doubt.
like these are super high, very unachievable net returns that a retiree would need every year to outperform the DIA's guaranteed income. So why does that matter, right? Trying to invest yourself at these high withdrawal rates may cause clients to run out of money faster, receive no longevity guarantee, definitely not be protected if the market drops, and of course, then face some uncertainty for beneficiaries. They'll never know what they're going to be leaving to beneficiaries. But in contrast, the income that the QLAC provides is guaranteed for life, can't be outlived, and it doesn't depend on market returns.
That's nice. So it's
Yeah,
tax efficient. In addition to that, it's room for the beneficiary, but also you are covering, this could be covering many of the fixed expenses that you're going to face anyway in a more tax efficient manner, allowing your other assets to be maybe even more aggressive and not have to fight for as much of a guaranteed return. That gives you
exactly.
a little wiggle, a little sequence of returns help there. But with taxes, is that now is that the net? I haven't done the math on this, but the net annual return needed is not just the internal rate of return on the product, but that's also is that also considering any of the tax savings on there too, Kim?
Correct. Yes,
Are
it
those
is.
baked in there?
Yep.
That is why they are so high. So, huh, interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So I
I'm
definitely wanted to
tracking with
point
you.
that out
Keep
because
going.
I think that is definitely powerful. Because I do get a lot of objections. You're like, well, I can, you know, that client's not making, a huge internal rate of return. I'm like, okay, well then you tell me where you can find the guarantees that this page is showing us to generate that same income guaranteed for life. So that's why I love that page so much. And again, that's page
That
6 in
very
the QLAC illustration. I believe it's page 8 if you just go into a general DIA illustration. All right, and then we're rounding home. So with this and at closing, you know, we're seeing people live longer. The government has provided us with this powerful tool for these clients that really need to save money, delay taxes, delay money, and use it as we are aging and getting older. They've equipped us with greater flexibility, or the QLACs, DIAs in general, actually has equipped us with greater flexibility in managing retirement income assets. And I think this opportunity merits some serious consideration for the millions of people that are nearing or are already in retirement. So if
could
everyone
not
on the,
agree more.
yeah, as I say, so if everyone here on the call is ready to learn more about QLACs and our DIA product, Income Source Select, and what it could mean to your business, I was going to tell them to give you a call, Justin, as well as the IMS team a call. But right here pictured is a mix of advisor only and client resources that you all can walk them through. So with that, I'll kind
Excellent.
of punt it back over to you.
Well, I appreciate it. Very beneficial topic. I've got an idea to share that came to me here while we were in the meeting. Thank you for sharing this. Agent just sent it to my email separately on looks like doing workshops. So in the room, not a show of hands because I can't see them anyway, but if you do any type of public or educational workshops as part of your work as an advisor, whether it be with existing clients or even a paid workshop for prospecting, you may be using, and this is common, we all use an intake form or a survey form, right? I'm using questions here just to gauge where the audience is at and who do we need to follow up with versus now versus maybe help later. What he's suggesting they do in their practice is and they're going to add this, Kim, to their form as they go through their presentation. They're going to put a slide in there. It looks like adding to the form, would you like to hear more about QLAC? And that helps them set the appointment. Reason for it is it looks like they're going to light play the definition during the presentation and highlight that slide you just talked about with those accelerated returns based on the tax savings. And their thought here is, based on what they do, that is a quick way to have somebody say, absolutely, I want to hear more on that, or I'd like to go further into that, without having people judge, oh, it's only for 200,000, or I'm looking at it from a minute standpoint. That sounds like it could also be a benefit. You're going to have a lot of people indicating they want to do that. Now, I know if somebody says they want to have a QLAC, it's not because of a cool name or that Kim said it. It's because they want to do what? They want to defer taxes. They see the benefit of not paying the IRS those hard-earned dollars if they can possibly avoid it. So very smart idea from the crowd. Kim, thank you for your time. And I am going to throw the final polling question out, and it's perfect because you dovetailed it. So integrity, one of the benefits in my career, I've been working with IMOs for 25 years, and I have had a relationship with Western Southern Integrity Group for all of those 25 years, I believe, pretty sure, at the beginning. And one of the things that you guys sing at and do very well is when my agents or our agents or any agent has a question that we need to involve your very educated staff, we can do that in a very quick manner, and also the materials. So you'll want to get your hands on these materials, but if those of you that want to have access to Kim's wonderful advanced team, as well as the materials and what we're going to call our QLAC kit, each one of these, as well as some additional ones from IMES, you just simply contract or request that you'd like to do so, and then we'll send you the appointment approval for Integrity. They're an A+ rated company, and we'll get you right in, get you the materials out. But let me launch those polls, and I appreciate everybody's opportunity or time today. The other item that I didn't go into here, I'm not going to switch the slide over, Kim, but you've heard me mention this before. IMES does a phenomenal job at taking ideas from a collaborative partner like we see here, or from the agents who shared today on our meeting. And then how can we make that look like you and make your community see how beneficial you are to them with topics like QLAC? Think through for me anything in your marketing campaign that you're currently using to where you'd like to bring up topics like QLAC or non-qualified stretch. Those are areas where we can help you, even with our branding and marketing team, if you need some assistance there. And everybody have a great day. We're going to go ahead and launch this final poll. And if anybody would like the material, just simply answer there. We'll get you the information out, and you'll have an email today at the end with all the presentation material. And we do have a recording of this that will be going out as well. And either Kim or myself, I'd just because, as you can imagine, how popular Miss Kim is, feel free to go through us. And myself, if you don't have a contact here at IMES, give me a call, and then we can bring Kim into it. And then Kim also, is it okay if I include your contact information out there for the group and maybe your team when I send this email out?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would definitely emphasis like on the team first, just because I travel and I'm on the road
Yeah.
so much. But yeah, I'm always willing to answer questions as I can.
Well, really appreciate that. Exactly. We don't want anybody falling through the cracks on these things. Thank you for attending again, and appreciate your responses here. We'll get everything over to you. And Kim, as always, appreciate your partnership and time. Enjoy the holiday season, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Merry Christmas.
Take care. You too. Merry Christmas. Take care. Thanks.